What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the business show.
What's up? How's it, Eugene?
Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone that's joining on the show today. I am sitting at the airport, so if the background noise is a bit bad, I apologize for that.
We will forgive you.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you.
Okay.
And so I'll just mute myself every now and then. Let's just see who's on the call. So,
Sonia, Yvonne, Machiel, what's up, everybody? Welcome.
Vera, Robin, Zita, welcome, guys. Welcome to the show today. Today we've got a really cool show. We have an e-commerce expert on the show today. Yay. So, e-commerce expert is someone that's just been really successful online, and I think for all of us, it's a nice place to learn from someone else. What did they do to become successful? So there's the saying, if you want to be a billionaire, hang out with millionaires. It's a simple process because billionaires have different habits than average people. How do you wake up? Who do you spend your time with? The stuff that we keep going on about and that we talk about quite often. And people who are successful just do things differently. And what we can do, who's that? Who's the guy from ClickFunnels, Billy?
Russell Brunson.
Yeah. So what Russell Brunson says is, don't go and copy someone, model after them. So, so today it's our opportunity to model after someone else that's really successful.
Yep.
So really excited about that. And then, what else is up? Going to Cape Town, post a couple of pictures on Facebook and Instagram. So if you guys want to go check it out, going to go surf a bit. And then I'm seeing some of the guys from, so Mark, I think you're going to be there as well. Zita, Machiel, seeing the guys from our Mastermind in Cape Town tomorrow. So going to have a lunch, and I'll post a couple of pics on there as well, and I'll post it on the Telegram group. So really excited for that. Otherwise, just going for a good break. And I think it's important.
As long as you just behave yourself, eh? Even if it's bad.
What's the chances that Come on, we both know. Cheers. I'm sitting at the airport having a beer.
Cheers. So guys.
Oh, you have to.
Cheers, Eugene. So thanks, guys. And Eugene, I think you mentioned it. Eh? So I think we most often, one of the things that we see a lot is guys starting out that wants to reinvent the wheel. They always think they've got the best solution and stuff like that, and it's really not the truth. I think it's one thing, if I think back at my journey, if I actually knew about these things, how you, go and do some research on your competitors, but also find yourself a mentor that's actually done that. So important, guys. So I'm super excited to introduce
and now
today's.
Often do we talk about accountability.
Yep.
Accountability is probably one of the biggest factors that helps us move forward, and that's one of the whole points of our bootcamp and our mastermind groups and all the stuff that we do, is so that you and we have people that keeps us accountable. So Willie keeps me accountable. Sometimes he gets really frustrated about that. Sorry, Willie.
I think Eugene's got a bit of a hearing issue as well, because sometimes he just does not listen.
So
cool.
So really cool, and just keeping each other accountable. So it's not just what's the knowledge that you take out of this, but I think it's 3% or 4%, something like that, of people that take in information actually go and apply it. Education without application is entertainment. So although we try to be entertaining every now and then and fail epically at times, the whole point of it is that firstly being entertained, and then secondly is taking information. So we learn from stories, and hearing other people's stories is the stuff that inspires us and helps us to move forward. And then we need to have someone that's going to keep us accountable.
Yeah, so cool. Thanks for that, Eugene. But I think it's let's jump into today's topic. So, guys, entrepreneur and the giant for today is someone which I've worked with and known for quite a while. She's one of the most successful online entrepreneurs that I've actually met. And to make it even better is she's actually created her own product. She's doing all of her marketing herself, and she's actually crushing it online. So of everyone that I know is in the online game, Pauline is probably the one that's right there at the top. So guys, I mean, she used to take back 12 months ago, the way that her business was set up is she literally just went through this lockdown without missing a beat. We obviously created some challenges for her. So yeah, let's get her onto the show, and I've sent her a message, so she's gonna jump up, guys. And if you've got any questions throughout the session, just maybe pop it in the question box, and let's ask her the questions while she's available to listen to us. So yeah, yes, we are recording this, and you guys will receive an email afterwards. Pauline,
Hey.
how are you doing, Pauline?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for joining us today on the show. We know you're a very busy woman crushing it online, and we're super excited to have you part of the show. So, Pauline, before we start off and jump into the nitty-gritty and the questions about e-commerce, tell us a bit about more about yourself and who's Pauline.
Okay, so I actually studied marketing, so did that for 12 years. Otherwise, a bit about me as a person, so kind of mom of two, left the corporate world and kind of started my own thing. And yeah, you could pay me R1 million a month and I would never go back. So yeah, absolutely love it. And look, it's been an interesting journey, but yeah, me in a nutshell.
Okay, cool. That's very cool, and I think people underestimate how busy your life gets with kids and doing the whole family thing and finding this work-life balance, spending time on yourself. Then you still have the business side of it, and you've got the kids running around, and it's like, mommy needs to work, go away. How did you incorporate all of that? How difficult is it, and how do you manage that just from a time perspective?
Time is definitely my biggest hurdle in life, to be honest. I never, ever do everything that I want to do in a day, ever. So it is difficult, like the initial idea was to kind of start, my own business and start this online store to have more time with my kids. And it hasn't become that at all.
It never that.
Not at all. So, I have more flexibility. So I kind of, I work in the office in the morning and then I fetch my kids from school and I do the school run and then I get to take them for lunch. And then I come home and then they know that it's my work time and they go and kind of do their own thing, even though my little one still interrupts me every 2 minutes. But no, it's getting there. The nice thing about being kind of your own boss is I can work late at night or early mornings or on the weekend if I need to catch up. And if I need to switch off, midday to kind of fetch them from school, I can do that. And that's why I would never go back to corporate, because you don't have that flexibility. So as much as the juggle is absolutely real, and I have no tips on how to manage that better. Besides,
the struggle is real.
Yeah,
the struggle is real. Yeah.
So before we get into the rest of the questions, sorry, Billy, you want to go for something?
No, I just wanted to say I don't have children yet, so I take my hat off to you guys who's actually had to deal with children whilst running businesses and actually teaching them some schoolwork. So yeah, hats off to you guys.
Homeschooling is next level.
Go for it, Eugene.
No, I just wanted to talk about the kids and stuff. I was sitting with Logan, my son, and he's quite entrepreneurial as well, and they've got this entrepreneur days at school and stuff. And he started making his own products and he sold it and he made like 1,000 or 2,000 rand on the day. And then he said, okay, Dad, but I want to grow this. So I started explaining to him, once you get employees, then you have to raise your pricing because now you've got overheads. And I explained the income statement. And I thought, he's 10, this is going to, at that stage, this is going to go over his head. And the next day, one of my coaching clients came over and he actually explained to them how income statement works. And I thought, we underestimate the ability of kids and how clever they are and how quickly they pick up this information.
No, definitely.
So it's really cool to have a kid and then have a role model of a mom and etc. Pauline, just before we get on to the rest of the questions, just tell us a bit about your online business. What is it? What do you sell? What do you do if people want to support you? Where do they go?
So it's called Ma Petite, which actually means little one in French. And yeah, it pretty much is an online store for predominantly kids decor. So we produce high quality children's decor, all kind of locally in our workshop in Centurion. So proudly South African. The elements that we don't make ourselves. So we make about 95% of the collection. And the elements that we don't make ourselves are supplied to me also by women-run businesses in South Africa. So kind of all the soft finishes we don't do. So we do most of like the woodwork and vinyl and wallpaper and that type of thing. But yeah, like I love that it's proudly South African. And I love that all of, my suppliers, the stuff that's not produced by me is also like women-run moms who also, have kind of started an e-commerce store. So, the idea was kind of sparked when I fell pregnant with my eldest daughter. And like all other moms, I don't know anyone who doesn't do it. You kind of create this beautiful Pinterest board of like what you want their rooms to look like. And then you kind of go out into like the world and try and find everything. And that's kind of when I realized there was this gap in the market and no one was making high quality, beautiful children's decor. And my husband owns a production business and I kind of knocked on his door and said, please, can you make this? And it's not something he kind of normally makes, but that's kind of how the process started. And I kind of handed him more stuff to make. And now there's like a full team that kind of just produce my products within his workshop.
Yes, that's very cool. Just something, Willie, before you ask something, Yvonne, are you doing, is it baby products or you doing natural products or something like that? Sorry, one of our members of our mastermind. Maybe just pop some of the stuff on here that you're doing in one or two questions. But the other thing is what we spoke about earlier, Willie, is this Russell Brunson. Go and model after someone else. See what your competition's doing. What can you learn from them? See what your partners are doing, who you can partner with. I think that's critical as well, which is something I want to ask later on. But Willie, I know you've got something. Go for it.
I've got loads of questions. So tell me, Pauline, what would you say is your 3 biggest influences to your success?
This is a hard question because there's so many different things, to be honest, and every kind of tweak definitely does, increase sales or conversions or the rest of it. But I think the 3 biggest things for me is customer service. I think people are not accustomed to good service in South Africa. So when you kind of blow them away with like amazing service, but I mean like next level, like I reply to every email that I get within like 2 to 3 hours. It's kind of killing them with kindness. It's just making sure that you reply. I mean, I don't ever stop. Social media is kind of next level in terms of like replying to DMs and requests all day, every day, on Christmas Day, in the evening. So it's kind of just constantly servicing clients. I think people are not accustomed to it. And I often get people kind of commend me on the customer service, because it kind of hooks them and then they want to support you continuously and recommend them to their friends and family because they're blown away that they've received service from a local company. So that's kind of the one thing. The other thing I think is unique, high quality products. I think what's difficult with an online store is they're not seeing it like in person and, making sure that when you deliver the product to them, that it looks exactly like it looks online or even better is important, because then they trust your brand and they trust your business and they'll be comfortable ordering again and again because they know that they're going to get something, superb from you. And then I think the third thing is definitely word of mouth, and it kind of plays hand in hand with the first two, because the best referral that you can get besides spending thousands on Facebook ads and Google ads, is word of mouth referrals. And you want to make sure that your clients are that happy that they're going to talk, their friends' ears off about the product that they received and kind of show off the space and the decor that they got. And you're going to get, referrals from, their friends. And it happens often. And I think those three things kind of drive the business. Lots of others, but I think those are kind of the three biggest things.
Cool. And I think I've got my next question actually ties in quite well with what you've just said. One of the things about succeeding online is people don't really walk into shops. So you're really dependent on people giving you the reviews. And I think it's one of the top things which actually converts sales. How did you actually see a massive uptake in sales as soon as you started getting reviews from these happy customers from you?
Definitely. And it was like a simple thing. So if you go onto my site, I think it's the first tab and I've got it like right up front. I've got customer reviews. Initially, the reviews were only there. They kind of only lived on that tab, which yes, they were looked at, but I then kind of added them onto the actual product. So now when you're browsing online, any product will show that this product has 5 reviews, 5 stars or whatever. And that's why I say, there's so many like just tiny little tweaks, consistently tweaking things. All of them kind of have like a little bit of a peak, all the time. So there's so many things that you can kind of do and change on your store. And that's why I think you'll never stop making changes. But yes, I mean, reviews, absolutely. And they're real reviews written by real customers. I've added functionality now where you can even upload a photo. And that I think is also important because now, yes, my photo looks beautiful online and it's taken by a professional photographer and it's been photoshopped and all the rest of it. But seeing like a real customer's photo also posted alongside it and it looks the same also just makes people like feel warm and fuzzy and like, oh, okay, it's really going to look like that. So reviews are so important. So absolutely, you have to have reviews online.
So all the people that's done the reviews doesn't look like Eugene with the same photo for all the reviews.
No, legit, 100% legit. No, there's a couple of apps you can use. So I use Yotpo, and you pay per month depending on how many mails it sends out. So, I mean, it can get really costly if you're, selling thousands of orders a month. But you can kind of limit it on how many emails it sends out, and then it kind of sends the mail out to clients, and it gives them the opportunity to leave a review or not. And it really works well.
Because I've got background noise here. Sitting in Spur off to Cape Town. So need to jump on the party. What did you say is the plugin that you used?
I use it called Yotpo. So YOTPO.
YOTPO.
Yotpo. Yeah, it's a Shopify. Well, it works on Shopify. I don't know if it's a Shopify app, but yes.
Okay. And what does that do?
So you kind of set the functionality. So you can kind of customize how your email looks. And it basically sends an email out to customers however many days after purchase and asks them to review the product. And
it's an email autoresponders sort of thing.
Yes.
So there's two things.
Go for it. So it's a bit of automation that you've set up, and then as soon as someone purchases it actually takes them through the process. So you don't actually go and have to ask it afterwards. And I think it's quite important, especially when you're selling stuff at the scale that you do. You can't really go out there and ask someone for a review. It's just not possible.
Don't have time. No.
And what do you use for your review system? What do you use specific software? Oh, your store runs on Shopify, right?
My store runs on Shopify. So this is a Shopify integrated app. So it's literally built into the store.
Okay. We must actually check which is one of the best for WordPress as well, Willie. Because I think that's something we need to integrate as well and into fast funnels. So two things that stands out for me that I just want to re-emphasize again as well, Willie, is have you seen a lot of, or have you heard like the congruency over time with the guys that we've been interviewing and the ladies we've been interviewing that's quite successful online, like David last week as well, or the week before, where they talk about their customer service? Because it's not a physical thing where they can walk in. So it won't take 3 days to respond to someone. When they walk into the shop, you need to catch them in that buying decision. So that's one thing that stood out for me. The second thing that stood out for me as well is this perception that online business is this overnight success, and I'm going to sit on a beach and work 1 hour a day, make a lot of money. And that's just not the case. It's another business. There's the way that you deliver your product maybe changes, but it's still a business in all other senses. And there's continuous things that you have to do. So, Pauline, I've got just a off-the-bat question. So if I think of our online business and stuff as well, there's certain things that produces a lot of success, other things that produces less, and there's this continuous tweaks and stuff. What is the one thing that if that goes away, you'll lie awake at night crying, thinking, I need this, I need to get it back?
Well, you joke. I mean, I had, just before Black Friday, literally a week before Black Friday, I downloaded an app. I won't mention names, but I downloaded an app that is meant to kind of help you create bulk discounts online. And it literally crashed my website. I cannot tell you how I literally thought I was having like a heart attack. So I don't know. There's kind of not one thing, but I think the biggest lesson for me after that incident, and it took them between Shopify and AfriHost and the app developers to kind of AfriHost, my web hosting company, to kind of figure out what happened. It took them about 6 hours. My website was down for about 6 hours. The biggest lesson for me was that you need to back up your site, because you don't have just like a physical store, you need insurance because God forbid there's a fire and your store burns down. Like with an online store, you kind of feel so like, it's online, nothing will ever happen.
Yep.
Well, it can completely vanish within a second.
I know that.
And I now have, I literally now have an app that I pay for, and it's quite expensive, but I don't mind because let it just back up, and it backs up like a couple of times a day, so that if my site ever crashes, I can literally get it up and running again. Because you can literally lose your business within a second, and that for me was very scary.
Exactly, and I think you've just mentioned it. It's remember, that is your store, that's your business, that's your IP. So you need to make sure that you protect that. It's like having insurance for your building. You go away on a Friday, it burns down. You come back on the Monday morning, there's literally nothing left.
No.
You lose your entire business.
No.
So I know it's something to consider. So last week we did a bit of a demonstration, and we installed a plugin on my website, and it literally just killed that entire website immediately. Luckily, our people's quite technical, so they managed to fix it on the back end. But I mean, that gave me the reality. I had that reality check. Is you spend so much time and money on this thing, and because it's online, it doesn't really mean that
that it's secure.
That's not secure. So yeah, sure, shame. So
back up your site.
Back up your site. Pauline, tell me, Robin's got a question here. Are you tech savvy, or did you find someone to help you with your website? If you did, how did you overcome the fear if you did it yourself?
I did it all myself, and I'm quite proud to say I did it all myself. It took me, and as I mentioned, when I started Mapity, it was really a side hustle business for me for about 2 years, until it grew big enough for me to be able to resign. And I registered the business, and it took me a year before I launched the website. And it took longer because I was doing it part-time. It wasn't my full-time thing, and I still had my full-time job. But also it took time because I'd never built a website ever before. So I Googled everything, and I asked people, and I watched a lot of webinars. And I mean, I spent hours trying to understand so many terms that I probably couldn't even tell you again, because it was kind of like, understand it, implement it, kind of get going. But yes, I think it's cool to do it on your own though, because it's so rewarding. When I often get people say to me, who designed your website? And I love being able to say it was all me. Most of the photos online are taken off my cell phone. No, but seriously.
Exactly.
And I learned it on my own. Trust, if you go on my social media pages and you scroll down to my very first photos on Instagram, I'm quite ashamed to look at them now because the lighting is terrible. But when you look at them now and you see how far the business has come, I think that's kind of what gives you the warm and fuzzies, because it's all a learning process, and you kind of just figure it out as you go along, and you download apps and you learn how to edit photos, and
And how many times have you actually broken your website yourself?
Only that one time, actually. Thankfully.
Yeah. There's a tech question that I want to ask as well. Just a thing before, you're talking about how long it took and all the struggles you went through and trying to find the right stuff. Why don't you just tell her about our bootcamp, Willie?
Again?
Why don't you just tell her about our bootcamp?
I think that was afterwards, though. I was already up and running. I'm sure you did mention it to me.
She could actually come and teach us, eh?
Yeah. So there's, I think, two different types of people. One that goes on the Shopify route and one that goes the WordPress route. WordPress is a lot more technical. It's got some advantages. Shopify, yeah, it's easy to set up for someone that's not technical. The one thing that I just wanted to ask, I see Shopify change their terms where if you use their payment gateway, then there was a fee. But now there's a thing, if you use someone else's payment gateway, like PayFast or something, they've added an additional 2% fee on top of that. What payment gateway do you use on Shopify?
So to answer your first question, because I signed up to Shopify before they actually added those fees, I luckily don't pay any fees, which is lucky. But so in terms of payment options, I like to kind of offer a variety online. So I now have PayGate, PayFast, Zapper, and PayJustNow. So, and that's just kind of from learnings and webinars and stuff that I've watched, just to, you never want to kind of have one option and like PayFast, the last 2 years over Black Friday have literally gone down. And you don't want to have that happen, really. You don't want to have that happen on like your busiest day of the year and clients can't check out online. So you have to have more than one payment option available. It also makes people feel more comfortable. Some people are more fay with one than the other. So I've got 4 options currently available.
And did you also experience that your sales increased as soon as you gave people more options to pay with?
Especially with PayFast, funny enough. PayFast was kind of the last one that I added. And I think it definitely is the most authentic or most known. I don't know, but there definitely was an increase in sales when I added PayFast. PayJustNow also has been an interesting kind of case study because they offer a 3-month interest fee kind of payment option, which especially in the last year and a half with, the pandemic and I think people's salary cuts and all the rest of it, it definitely has also helped because people can now pay their orders off over 3 months. So as I mentioned earlier, every single tweak definitely does result in some sort of an increase in sales.
So there's just firstly for our group or for the viewers, next week we are actually interviewing the payment or PayGate company. So Sonia, you're asking about international payments, which I will go through now. WalletDoc. So the CEO of WalletDoc is on the show next week, guys. So if you want to see how your payments work online, and they've got a whole lot of strategies about how to connect your customers online and how to increase the sales that you get from payments and so forth. So join us for the show next week. It's going to be super cool. So Pauline, I want to get into the marketing side of things. Before I do you sell international as well? Because Sonia's asking, what do you use for international payments? Or it's only local?
It's only local at this stage. I've had quite a lot of requests from international, but realistically, to kind of ship one product, little product, overseas is every quote I've gotten is always over 1,000, 1,500 rand. So to be honest, I don't even kind of go down that road anymore, and I just kind of say we're local, unless there is a company who offers very cost-effective shipping solutions overseas. Then no. I do though have a friend, and Willie, Natalie, who has moved to the UK, and all she wants to do is sell Muppety products on Amazon UK. So maybe, maybe, but we'll see.
On that point, Pauline, obviously you guys produce these products yourself. Have you actually thought of approaching print-on-demand companies abroad that can maybe produce these things, or is it too difficult?
You know what? At this stage, it's just kind of grown so big locally that I don't have the time to kind of even look down that road yet. I don't know. I'm not really sure. So no, not at this stage.
But I think it's quite important. A lot of guys just try to expand outright, and I think it's nice to hear from someone who says, "I'm happy with my market and I'm still expanding. So why do I really want to, go to all of these places?" So yeah, go for it, Eugene. Now we're going to talk about marketing.
Yeah, I'm curious. So you mentioned that word of mouth works quite well, and then you also mentioned that you use Google, you use Facebook, you use Pinterest, Instagram, etc. What is your favorite marketing platform and why?
So my favorite would be the one that brings me the most traffic. I'll be biased to that one, but
which is
social media at this point. So between Facebook and
Which
Instagram.
One?
No, kind of both, to be honest. Probably more Facebook than Instagram. But at this stage, the majority of traffic comes from social media, followed quite closely by Google. So yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be able to not have either of them, especially, when your conversion rate on average is about 1.3%, the more traffic to your store, the more sales you're going to get. So, it's kind of not one or the other. I think you rely on both.
And do you have any retargeting strategies in place?
I do. So there's abandoned cart mails that go out, both on browsing on social media and Google. So yes.
Okay. Just for everyone that's on the show, I think a lot of them wouldn't have heard about this abandoned cart, method that you're using now. Just quickly explain to them, how does this process work and for yourself?
So there's a couple of apps that you can use, or companies you can use. So there's the likes of MailChimps and OmniSend, etc. So I use OmniSend, and basically, again, it's kind of an automated email that you set up, and you can set it up to go off as often as possible. So I've got 3 that go off. The one goes off an hour after you browsed online. The other one I think is 2 days later, and the other one's a week later. So it's that constant kind of mail that you get that says, "We've kept your cart safe for you. Have you forgotten something?" And the conversion rate definitely is good. I mean, you get a lot of people that, especially with my target market being moms. You're busy browsing online, and then your kids go to the bathroom or have dinner or whatever, and then you kind of put your phone down. And you genuinely wanted to buy something and you forget. So it's that constant reminding them to kind of come back. So, yeah, So the retargeting ads, I mean, those will appear on Facebook. So when you feel like a brand is stalking you because you've just been on their website, and then all of a sudden,
stalking you.
What you see on their ads, and you're like, have they listened to my conversation? But yeah, it's all of those kind of things.
I just have one technical question, but it's more for me than anyone else. You mentioned that your conversion rate is 1.3%. Is that a conversion from cold traffic into a purchase, or the conversion rate to get a lead? What do you classify as a conversion?
That's based on sessions. So that's how many people visited the site and actually ended up purchasing. And that's kind of an industry standard, which is quite scary for online. You often hear people be like, "Yeah, I had 1,000 people on my site today, or 100 people on my site today," and it sounds like a lot. But when you actually work out what that industry standard conversion is, you've got to get a lot of traffic through your store to actually make money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell me, Pauline.
Go for it, Billy.
Go for it.
I just want to ask about social marketing. Sorry, what's your marketing strategy at the moment when it comes to Instagram? How do you get someone from Instagram onto your site?
So I've got an Instagram shop that's set up, so where you can actually tag products, and if they click on the link, it takes them directly to kind of an Instagram shop where you can check out on Instagram, or it can take you through to the website where you can buy, directly on the website. So kind of either or, and the same applies with Facebook. So you have that option now where you can create a Facebook shop or an Instagram shop. It basically is just an extension of your store on the social media platforms. I personally don't find a lot of people check out on Facebook or Instagram. They kind of still go through to your website and it kind of ends up there. I guess it depends on maybe your product. But yeah, it definitely, I mean, the conversion that you get and the traffic that we get from social media is definitely, it's not a platform that you cannot be on.
Okay. They are still the biggest, I think.
Yeah, so on Facebook, if you, for example, do you run Facebook ads?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So on your Facebook ads, do you have a specific image and copy? Do you like play around with different images and different copy and stuff like that? Which one's working best for you at the moment? Like what strategy is working the best for you?
So I've got a couple of ads. I've got conversion ads. I've got lead generating ads. I've got traffic ads. They all kind of serve different purposes. And I think it's kind of taking your client through that sales funnel. So your traffic ads kind of just reach as many people as possible and introduce the brand to them. Whereas your conversion ads kind of target people who have been existingly on your site or on your Facebook page or on your social media page. And then your message kind of varies depending on who you're speaking to. So I don't think one is more important than the other, because you kind of need to kind of first do your broad reach sales, traffic, and then kind of filter it down to conversion. Does that answer your question? So yes, kind of both.
Okay, cool. Go for it, Billy.
So tell me, what would you say are the habits that's helping you to succeed in business and online?
I think just being diligent, to be honest, and hard work. Like you said initially, I mean, you can't kind of expect that because it's an online store that it's easier than any other business. I mean, I probably work harder than I ever did in my whole life, to be honest. So no, I think it's hard work. It's constantly being innovative and coming up with new, fresh ideas all the time. Constantly making tweaks and improvements to your website. You know, you can't just stagnate. You've got to kind of keep going, because especially online, your business is kind of like a storefront for the world to see. And you get a lot of people who kind of just copy a lot of your stuff. I literally had a lady who started a website, used my slogan. She even had copied my terms and conditions word for word, that she forgot Muppety in some of the sentences. I think I told you, Vince.
Yes, you did. So guys, so don't do that. Go and look out things. Don't copy the people's stuff.
No.
Don't do that.
But that's why you got to constantly be innovative and change. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe you should take it as a compliment when someone copies your business. I don't really take it as a compliment, but I'd rather be the market leader than the market follower, and just constantly changing and offering something better. And, you know, at the end of the day, you want to kind of be known as like the go-to place, even though like Joe Soap down the road decided to copy your business and maybe he's cheaper than you. You know, you kind of need to build up your reputation so that people are going to come to you as opposed to your competitor.
Yeah, cool. And you mentioned now you work quite a lot. So
yes,
off the work stuff, how do you reward yourself for all of this hard work?
I don't really.
No.
No, I don't know. That was a hard question. So I don't know. I think in terms of like how I would reward myself would be flexibility. Not like I ever take a day off, but if I wanted to, you know, go for lunch during like work hours or whatever, I guess that flexibility is kind of a reward to myself. Otherwise, I think, you know, the other thing would probably be, you know, paying myself dividend payouts every now and then. And
that's a nice one, eh?
But I don't know what else would be my personal rewards.
Well, I guess free time is already a start, eh?
Yes.
Cool, go to Eugene.
So we were just talking about before that, what is like some of the habits and stuff, or the question that Billy asked, and this is probably one of my favorite topics, as just from a mindset perspective, and how do you think and how do you keep yourself motivated and driven and all that sort of stuff. Because every time we slip down as an employee, you kind of just go past the day and at the end of the month you still get your salary. As a business owner, you have a bad week, you lose a quarter of your income. So what habits or rituals or like morning rituals or like the 5 a.m. club or something what's your stuff that you use to maintain your level of motivation and your drive? And yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. I think it's just kind of who I am. I don't know. I look at my sales figures all the time, you know, and if I see, and I can kind of look at analytics and see like where we're at compared to last month, and if it's like 5% down or 2%, I don't know, that in itself kind of motivates me. I kind of know like on average what my daily sales should be to kind of meet my monthly targets. I don't know, there's kind of a lot of things. So, you know, like for me personally, I know that I need to post on social media every day at least once a day. And I need to have a story on Instagram running all the time. So it's little things like that I know. And if I don't have one up yet, or I post late because I've had the craziest day, I feel anxious about it. So it's like, because I know that traffic comes from social media. So
just doing those little things over and over and over.
Making sure, be consistent. It's posting on social media. It's replying to like all your mails. It's making sure, you know, your orders are going out and you're meeting deadlines. It's, you know, tracking your sales all the time. And there's a bit of a slump, it's like, think about something strategic that you can do, like, you know, maybe 2 weeks into the month it's still running a bit low, then run a sale or do a competition, or, you know, so it's just, you got to have your finger on the pulse all the time, you know, and just kind of keep tracking how your business is monitoring kind of all the time. And if you see it sliding, and you can see it with your numbers, you know, you've got access to that.
And I think that's one of the really most important things of business, is doing those little things constantly. Like we mentioned, exactly. People think having an online business is an easy thing and it's going to happen overnight. It's just another business. It's just got another type of sales channel, but that constant stuff, just little things. So Eugene, you probably need to get onto a plane. Go for it. Last question.
Before we do, you can ask the last question, Willie. I just want to ask, it's again a personal thing for me. What's your dream? Like, if you think in 5 years from now and you've got this amazing whatever, what's your dream? What you striving for? What excites you?
You know, Willie asks me this all the time. Because you know what? It was actually never meant to get this big, to be honest. I wanted to kind of leave corporate, and I wanted to have more time with my kids. And I kind of, I guess, had that dream to thinking it would be maybe easier, and I had more flexibility, and it didn't work out that way. And now it's kind of more staff, and it's working longer hours. And while I'm very grateful and I'm kind of just riding the wave as it is now, I've had to kind of change my mindset. Okay, like where to now? So it's growing. You know, it's bigger than I thought it would be, and it's continuing to grow. So where to next? So my strategy at the moment, and it's kind of just working on, you know, what questions or not concerns, but like things that clients have kind of said, is to possibly look at kind of opening a showroom or a flagship concept store in the next 5 years. While e-commerce is amazing, a lot of customers, I think especially in South Africa, still sometimes want to see something in real life before they like part ways with their money. And I often get people ask, like, can't we just come to the workshop and we can like come and see stuff? And I don't have a display room of products, all my products lined up in a row. So I definitely think not going into like a brick and mortar store, but having like maybe one flagship store or one like showroom of sorts. And then I thought potentially 5-year plan, whether it happens or not, I'm not sure, but almost having like a interior design kind of service. So, you know, a lot of people are kind of unsure, you know, you got this array of products that they can buy, but they're not everyone is good at putting it together and actually creating a beautiful space. So almost, and that could be a service available either online or, you know, within our concept store. So that's kind of like the 5-year plan now that I almost have to think bigger. But yeah, and I think just to kind of I think just to have, you know, a brand that's well known within South Africa, you know, and almost become like the go-to place, you know, just to kind of keep building on the name. So, you know, when people are looking for custom or personalized decor, they know that they want to come to us. So I guess that's the 5-year plan. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's
very cool. Sounds good.
Just a tip for on a tip, something to go read up on. Willie, you listened to that or read, what's it, The Intelligent Entrepreneur, about the 3 Harvard MBA students. One of them was Marla Malcolm Beck. So she's got a company called Blue Mercury, which sells beauty products and stuff. And she also expanded into that. So she had the online thing, and then she moved into retail and online. So she had this combination, which is personally really good for a risk analysis or risk prevention, whatever the correct term is. And then the secondly as well is people can go in, and once you've built that trust and credibility, then you can go on. So it's up for everyone. Intelligent Entrepreneur, very, very cool book to go and read. Billy, we've got time for one more question. Do you have one more question?
One more question for you, Pauline, before we say thank you to you. Is so a lot of the guys on the show and in our community, they actually new in this e-commerce journey. So there's quite a lot of things which they struggle with. What would you say is the 3 things, 3 tips that you can maybe give them to kind of move forward from this point?
So I actually read something the other day, which I thought was interesting, and it said, dream big, start small, but most importantly, start. And it really resonated with me, because we're often so scared to just start, and you want to have everything, perfectly in the back end. So when you launch, it's like perfect, and it's never going to happen, and you're never going to actually get there. So just register the business. Start with register it, start a business plan, open your bank account, and just start. So that's the one thing. I think the other thing is don't ever stop learning. I mean, I read so many blogs and webinars and, books, honestly, about business in general, about online and e-commerce, and I literally used to watch these webinars and write notes. I had a book dedicated to my learning book, and I would literally write all these notes down and tips of I need to do that, and then I would sit and I would implement them, and I still do it, tweaks and changes, to kind of improve on the business. So I think constantly read, don't ever stop learning, ask 1,000 questions. And then I think the last thing is you want to create a brand and almost humanize your brand. And I think that's what makes people loyal to a business. Don't just be a blanket approach business, I think. And that's why social media is so important, because use that platform to kind of get to know your customers and let your customers know you. I don't often post, I don't think I've ever posted a photo of myself, to be honest, but I often have photos of my kids or my kids' rooms, or I'll share stuff about what I'm doing personally. And it humanizes the brand, and people have kind of got to know that I'm a mom and I've got 2 girls, Hayley and Olivia. I think when they see their names on almost lots of stuff, they know those are my girls' names, and it's just kind of humanizes your brand so that people get to know you on a personal level.
Very cool.
Pauline,
sounds
thanks
just
so much.
Our stuff as well. I mean, Willie, how many times have we said this? You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
Start to be great.
1. Number 2, lifelong students. Number 3, know, like, and trust. People buy from people that know, like, and trust. Get to know your customer. Help them to get to know you. We keep repeating this stuff, guys. You need to apply it. We need to. Pauline, it was awesome chatting to you. I'll definitely reconnect with you as well.
Thank you.
Maybe there's some synergies, and then I think some of our tribe members really learn from this, because a lot of them have similar stores, or they want to go into the baby industry or whatever. So it's toddlers, babies, kids, all that sort of stuff. So guys, go check out Pauline's website, and then we posted it in the group. And otherwise, we'll see you next week for the CEO of Walladoc. So that's going to be an awesome show as well. Pauline, thanks for your time. And thanks for your insights. Thanks for sharing your knowledge so openly and helping other people to get off the ground and start their online journey. It was a really cool show.
Thanks so much, Pauline, for your time. We've really learned a lot from you. Everyone that pitch up, thank you.
All the Cape Town crew, see you tomorrow in Cape Town. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.